Selling Medicare insurance over the phone has been done for quite some time now. It's not a new concept, but a lot of you guys and a lot of agents still seem to struggle with the concept and with actually how to implement it. Today we're going to get right into how to sell Medicare insurance 100% by phone. Selling Medicare over the phone, what a topic, and I'm really excited to jump into it with you guys today. Before I do so, I want to talk about this video's sponsor, which actually might help you, believe it or not, to sell Medicare and health insurance over the phone. And that's, of course, Lead Heroes, you guys. Lead Heroes has got you covered when it comes to telemarketing leads, whether it be Medicare supplement leads, final expense leads, turn 65 leads. They just got something for everybody. You can even pay one of their trained and qualified telemarketers to make calls for you. They can do live transfers, preset appointments, whatever it is you want them to do. They also specialize in virtual staffing. So if you're having trouble affording a full-time employee here in the States, you might be able to get somebody that's part of their culture, their training, their organization. They've made sure that they've gotten only the best quality of people working and doing the job that can actually come on and be a virtual staff member for you. We actually use it right now in our agency. You might want to check them out. Just because you watch this video, they're going to give you 10% off any order you make on the website. Link can be found down in the description, so go ahead and check them out. All right, guys, let's talk about selling over the phone. So I'm going to be working exclusively from the home office for the next week or so. My daughter, for those of you who are friends with me, follow me on social media, my daughter had the flu last week. And so we just out of courteous, just to be courteous to all of my staff members and people that work in the office, I stayed home most of the week this past week, and then my wife tested positive for the big C. I'm not going to say it on YouTube so I don't get demonetized. And so we're just kind of all staying, clear and quarantining. So you're going to be seeing a lot of the home office for the remainder of this week. Anyway, guys, let's talk about selling completely over the phone. What is it that you need to know? Well, first things first, there are some tools that I think are going to be helpful for you guys that you need to basically make sure that you have lined up. The first thing is you need a very good phone system. Some people might say you need a power dialer. I don't necessarily think you absolutely have to have a power dialer. It's a nice luxury. If you're dialing a lot of data or you're dialing a lot of age leads, you're just making a ton, hundreds and hundreds of phone calls at a time, a power dialer can be nice for something like that. Essentially, cold calling is where I would say a power dialer would be good for, but you don't necessarily need it. And there's a lot of different power dialers out there. I won't go into that in this specific video, but the phone system that we use is RingCentral. It's a completely internet phone. I have a physical phone at my desk in the office. But I also have availability to use it with an app that's on my computer. I have an app on my cell phone I can use it for, and essentially I can take, make, and receive phone calls anywhere with RingCentral. Now, it might not be the best phone service out there. I'm not sure. I haven't necessarily gone through all 100 of them. I actually have a business to run. But it's worked very well for us. Essentially, it can do almost anything that you need it to do. It can record your phone calls. It's very, very high tech in terms of the ability of things that it can do for you. It can send text messages, all that stuff, right? So having that service implemented to where you have an office line that you can use from anywhere is going to be very helpful if you're trying to sell over the phone, because essentially selling over the phone, the whole idea of it is you don't have to be in the office to sell. You can sell from home. You can sell while you're on vacation. You can sell from a hotel room. You can do it from anywhere. I've sold policies over the phone in hotel rooms while I'm traveling, at my house, while I'm on vacation, from the office, you name it. Even driving in my car, I've been able to pitch certain products and being able to conduct my phone appointments over the phone. So first thing is you need a good service to be able to use to sell over the phone. The second thing you need is you need to make sure that you absolutely nail your tones when you're speaking. I've talked about this before, and just because I've talked about it before doesn't make it any less true, so I'm going to repeat it for those of you who might be new to the channel. Your tonalities and how you actually nail your pronunciations is going to be ever so important when you're trying to sell over the phone. Think about it for all of you face-to-face agents out there. when you are face-to-face, belly-to-belly with a prospect, there's a lot of forms of communication that you're having with that person throughout your appointment that is not vocal. You have eye contact, right? You're looking them right in the eye, right? You're smiling to show your enthusiasm about what you're actually talking about in that appointment, right? You have your amazing hand gestures, right? You're just showing them and making sure that you're expressing yourself with your hand gestures, right? That all goes out the window when you're selling over the phone. Now, certain people might say, well, Christian, Zoom, right? I can get on Zoom with some of my prospective clients, right? Some of them might be willing to do that, but I am of the opinion that you're going to do much better just by doing it over the phone, because I think getting them on the Zoom call is more work than it's worth. And I think most people are comfortable doing a lot of their business over the phone these days. I mean, with Amazon, Walmart, Kroger stores, they're all delivering food to you. And I think a lot of seniors are at a point now where they're used to doing things over the phone. They fill prescriptions over the phone. They do mail order pharmacies. And they do a lot of their everyday life conducted over the phone. And so their insurance is not really that big of a deal for most of them. Now, some of them it might be, and we'll talk about how you can combat that in a second here. But for a majority of them in 2022, especially with the past couple of years we just went through, it's a bigger deal for you than it is for a lot of them. It's in your head. It's a mental thing, you guys. It's a mental roadblock that you have to overcome and climb over in order for this to really become a successful part of your business. You're going to need to have, now depending on kind of what your business model is, if your business model is you're getting leads and you're making outbound calls to those leads, I've talked about this a lot on this channel. This really doesn't really change whether you're doing face-to-face or over the phone. If you're calling leads to, at the very least, schedule an appointment, you're going to need a laser-tight phone script, right? One thing you have to understand, and I wrote in my book that you have about 8 seconds to really grab somebody's attention when they first pick up the phone before they hang up on you. My friend Greg Grabikian came on and he read my whole book, which I really appreciate. And he said that he's like, I think that's true, but it might even be more like 4 or 5 seconds. And I think he's probably right about that. You have a very, very small window to grab somebody's attention when they first answer the phone. And so you have to be quick. You have to know what you're saying, and you have to sound sure and confident of yourself. Otherwise, no one's going to talk to you. So many people say, well, I can't sell over the phone. I'm so much better face-to-face. Well, the problem is when you go back and actually look at their process and their script, and also how they actually conduct themselves over the phone, there's no confidence, there's no self-belief in what they're saying, and you have to nail that the very second the person answers the phone. So I've kind of touched on my script in the past, but I'm going to quickly go through it with you guys real quickly here, for at least for the first couple of seconds when somebody gets on the phone. So they call up, right? Let's say I'm using my Ring Central app right here. I'm calling up Mrs. Jones. Ring, ring, ring. And of course, I'm always going to use their first name, so we'll just say Jane. I never want to say Mr. or Mrs. anything. I want to say Jane, Tom, John, whatever the case might be. Let's just say it's John. Ring, ring, ring. He answers. He says, hello. I'm going to really hit him with a lot of enthusiasm right off the bat. I'm going to be smiling because it comes through the phone. They can hear it in your tone when you're talking. If you're in a bad mood and you're frowning, that comes through the phone. They feel it in your voice. So I'm going to go, hi, is this John? I'm excited. Hi, is this John? Yes. Hi, John. My name is Christian. The reason for my call today, John, is in the last couple of weeks, you sent a reply card back into my company requesting some information on Medicare changes and changes here in the area. Do you mind if I ask a couple questions to determine if I can be of any service? Just like that. And you can do some, playing around with that a little bit to kind of fit you. But I think you just need to be clear, concise, and to the point. Some people don't agree with me on that. There's more than one way to skin a cat. That script right there, or some different, version of that script has made me hundreds of thousands of dollars selling insurance over the years. And it's because it's quick, it's to the point, right? If I call someone up and they're like, and let's say it's, John says hello, he's like, hello, and I say, hi, John, this is Christian. How you doing today? He's gonna be like, who the hell is this, right? Like, who is this? Like, if someone called me up and said that, I'd hang up on their goofy, what? I wouldn't even give them the time of day. I'd be like, what do you want? I'm busy. I'm a busy guy. Your clients and your prospects are busy too. Get to the point. Quick, quick, quick. Now, one thing that my friend Greg Rabickian talked about when he came on the channel in the last couple of weeks, and I 100% agree with what he says, and I utilize this too in our process, is you want to build a connection with people. But there's a fine line of building a connection that's quick and building common ground and building commonality without letting them waste your time and spending 30 minutes on the phone with them hearing their life story. You have to control the phone call. So you have to keep redirecting it back to the point. Now, my script is very, very quick and to the point to where I'm trying to find out in the first 2 minutes if I can help that person. I'm trying to qualify them. I'm trying to ask them very important and qualified questions right off the bat. So I'm going to ask them, John, are you on Medicare now? Yes, great. Do you have a Medicare supplement plan currently? Oh, fantastic. Do you mind if I ask which insurance company that's through? Do you know if that's a Plan G or a Plan F? I'm trying to find out as much information as I can get right off the bat, and you're going to get people that push back against you. You're going to get people that say, well, I didn't fill anything out. You want to know what my process is? I'll be like, John, is this a cell phone that I'm talking to you on right now? Yes, it is. I would say, perfect. Does this cell phone have the ability to receive text messages? Yes. What I'm going to do if it's all right with you, John, is I'm going to take a quick picture of this direct mail card that I got here. I want to make sure that I'm talking to the right person, and then it was something that maybe you filled out or maybe a family member filled it out for you. So I'm going to text this over to you right now. I text it over. I'm like, do you see the card, John? Does that look familiar? Does that look like your handwriting? Well, yeah, that does look like my handwriting. Perfect. And I just really had the time to get back on, to you on this just now, and that's why, it might have taken me a day or two to get back with you. So do you mind if I continue with my questions here? And I'm just going to try to keep redirecting back to the path here. Now, it's not, you have to connect with the person. You do have to find ways to kind of interject some commonalities, right? So if I'm talking to somebody that is in another state, let's say, I'm going to try to find anything I can to get them to talk about what's going on. I'll be like, you're in Dallas. I was in Dallas last year in the summer. It's a little bit humid, but what's the temperature like now there? Just really quick questions, to build some kind of common ground, right? We are the same, right? We have similar experiences. We're just two people talking, right? We all know about the sales skills and the sales taxes of all this, but this is all going to be very, very important. So you have to nail your tones. So back to the beginning of the script when the person first answers the phone. I'm going to start off with high energy enthusiasm. Hi, is this John? Is this John? Yes. I mean, it's almost like I'm excited to talk to them and they can feel it on the other end of the phone. Some people might be like, whoa, but how many times does someone call them every day like that? Not often, I guarantee you. You're going to get more people being willing to talk to you just by taking that approach right there, because people like to talk to excited, energetic people, and excitement and energy are contagious. They're contagious, and they can feel it from you on the other end of the phone. I'm going to bring my tone down then. And I'm going to say yes. I'll be like, John, I'll be like, perfect. John, my name is Christian. The reason for my call today, John, I'm going to bring it down. The reason for my call today, the reason why I'm reaching out to you, John, in the last couple of weeks, you filled out a reply card. I'm getting back to you, right? I'm doing them a favor. I'm painting the picture in their mind that I am responding to their request that they submitted. I'm getting back to you, John. I'm accommodating their request. I'm getting back to you. I just had a chance to get back with you on this card. It just popped on my desk this morning. Do you mind if I ask you a couple of questions to determine if I can be of any service? Then I go right into the fact find. You need to have a dynamite script. It doesn't have to be mine. Mine works, though. I can promise you on this. I've had multiple time top producers review my script and help me make some tweaks, but I've also used it over the years, and I'm a multiple time top producer as well. So it's something that I've used over the years to essentially, tweak it, fine tune it. I've made adjustments where I feel like improvements can be made over the course of multiple years out into the field, right? Now, another thing you guys are going to need to sell 100% over the phone is you're going to need very good processes and very good software to be able to do electronic applications. That means your FMO, your IMO needs to be providing you Sunfire, Connecture, CSG software for quoting Medicare supplements, dental, vision, hearing, and other ancillary products. You're going to need these things, right? If you're with any integrity marketing IMO or FMO, you get what's known as Medicare Center for free, which is essentially the one and only tool I've ever seen in the industry that integrates Connecture, Sunfire, and CSG all in one platform to where you can do scope of appointments all through there. You can do text scope of appointments. You can do email scope of appointments. If you're in person with someone, you can complete them right off the hand. But this is a video about selling over the phone. You can do email applications. There's such a variety of things that you can do that essentially keeps you 100% virtual, right? So you're going to need this kind of tool and this kind of software. If your IMO or FMO doesn't have it, or they make you pay for it, they suck. Okay, just right off the bat. Okay, it's essentially something that every reputable upline is going to provide these days in the industry, and it's a very valuable tool, and it's something you should take advantage of. They're a very, very high level tool, and Medicare Center, in my opinion, is the best at it. You also need to get yourself very familiar with circumstances where certain carriers will have telephone applications, right? Certain carriers are going to offer you telephone applications to where you can do a telephone signature, right? Like a telephonic signature, if you will. Kind of the way that works is, you have them with Aetna, you have them with Anthem, you have them with Cigna on the Medicare Advantage side, you have Humana has them, and there's so many different companies out there that actually provide this, and they're all going to work a little differently. What I would say in this is, take some time, call a carrier or two, and see if they can send you over some information on some companies. You might have to register for it to kind of get up and rolling, but this is good if someone doesn't have an email, they just can't seem to do the electronic signature for whatever reason. You have a backup plan to completely sell that policy over the phone. The other thing you got to keep in mind, guys, is selling over the phone is really, no different than if you sold the person in person, right? I'm not going to do a different presentation. I'm not going to do a different explanation. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put more focus on enunciating my words. I'm going to put more focus in my tone. I'm going to do the same presentation, though. I'm not going to present my information any differently than if I was in person with them. Really, it's just a mental roadblock for a lot of you. Some of you just have this idea in your mind that selling over the phone is different than face-to-face sales, and it's not in many, many ways. And this is the best wisdom that I can share with you guys, doing both over the years. In our office, we do both. We don't sell 100% by phone, but we do all of our business as either someone coming into the office and sitting down at one of our desks, or we're doing the policy over the phone. We don't go to houses anymore. We don't do anything like that. And we've done a ton of phone sales over the years. And my presentation is not going to differ whether I'm doing it over the phone or whether I'm doing it face-to-face, because I have a rock-solid presentation. I have a presentation where I go through my Turning 65 presentation if you guys would like to see that. Let me know in the comments if that's something you'd like to see. I'll drop the link to it in the comments and then that might help you with the presentation. But if you have a rock-solid presentation, you're not going to need to change the presentation. Now, in terms of visuals, right, because it's sometimes helpful for them to have some visuals on something they can see, you might want to put together a PowerPoint of sorts that you can email over to them, or maybe just some generic documents or just visuals or something like that, like a T-chart even. A T-chart is going to work as good as anything when you're doing Medicare Supplement versus Medicare Advantage. It just is. There's no other better visual, and it's simple. It's easy for people to understand. So it's good that you can email that over to them. If all else fails and you need them to look at something, you can always do what we call a two-step appointment. I don't have to do this often, but once in a while I have had to, where we'll mail them to some stuff to look at. We'll schedule an appointment for the next week. Then they'll have a visual to actually look at. So there's a lot of little nuances like that, but in terms of actually the information you're communicating, the presentation you're giving to the person over the phone, it doesn't have to be dramatically different than the one you do in person. If you have a presentation that you feel like is a nuclear weapon, and it's so good and every word has its place, every explanation is the perfect amount of length, you're not explaining too much, you're not explaining too little, that's the way I feel like my presentation is, you don't need to change it if you're doing it over the phone. It will work just fine. You just got to get over that mental barrier and that mental roadblock. On top of this, guys, you will get more comfortable by selling over the phone, by actually selling over the phone, by actually doing it, by actually having the reps. It's no different than going to the gym and you're pumping iron, right? You got to pump iron for the muscle to build. You don't pump it once and then all of a sudden you can squat, ridiculous amounts of weight, or you can, deadlift, multiple hundreds of pounds. You got to work your way up to it. And the more you do it, the stronger you'll get at it. You'll build that muscle. That hustle muscle will grow a little bit. And you'll also get more comfortable as you go. You'll feel more confident in yourself. So my advice to you guys is do everything I said in this video, but hop on the phone, do it, mess up a couple times, get punched in the face a couple times. Failure is the best way to learn something quick, fast, and in a hurry, and you'll be better off for it. The most successful people, they rush to failure. They actually sprint towards failure because you have to fail before you can succeed in anything in life. So you should try to fail as fast as you possibly can in certain things like this. So you get over the hump, you learn from it, and then you can correct whatever caused you to fail in the first place. Anyway, guys, I hope you found this video helpful. A lot of little intricate things, nuts and bolts. If you found this video helpful, do me a favor, drop a like on this video. It helps more people like you who need to hear our information find it. Medicare agents, insurance agents of any kind, we're here to help you and provide you free information on a daily basis is our goal throughout the week. My name's Christian Brindle. I've been a top producer for 6 Medicare Advantage companies. And I'm here to help you kind of share some of the insight that has helped me be successful over the years in building my agency. Drop a comment below. What do you feel about this video? Do you have any tips you'd like to add for people that might be watching? Do you have any questions that maybe we didn't cover that maybe we can answer in the quick comments? I'd be happy to kind of interact with you guys. If you like this kind of content, make sure to subscribe. We put a lot of it up. Hit the notification bell so you're notified when we upload. And until next time, guys, thanks so much for watching. Here's to your success and your abundance. Thanks, guys, and happy phone selling.